Hey guys, this is Andrew with rockclass101.com, and in this week's ukulele lesson, Matt's going to be teaching you how to play clair de la lune, which is probably the most famous nursery rhyme to come out of France, and rightfully so. This is a delightful melody, and it's a melody that is very simple, which makes this piece perfect for beginner players. Now, for this arrangement, Matt is playing through the melody twice. The first time through, he's primarily playing just the melody, but the second time through, he's adding in extra notes. So he's layering on the harmony, which helps to fill out the sound. So this makes it kind of like a stepping stone arrangement, right? The first time through, you're focusing on the melody. The second time through, you're making the right hand do a little bit more work, but you're filling out the sound and making it just really, really pretty sounding overall. So let's take a step back. Let's talk a little bit about this lesson. So in this video, Matt's going to be teaching you the entire piece, but if you want to get the tabs to print off and follow along with, that's going to be available at this link right here. Or you can go to the site, rockclass101.com, do a search for the song's name. Don't forget to, on that page, is the really cool interactive on-screen tab viewer. Now this is a great feature where you can hit play. You can watch the tabs scroll across in real time. You can highlight bars to loop sections, slow it down to any speed you want. Just a great asset in learning this tune that much easier. So guys, without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and hand it off to Matt to teach you how to play this. Don't forget to grab the high G ukulele, and I'll catch you at the end of the video.
Hello, in today's lesson we're going to learn an absolutely beautiful traditional French folk melody. Let's go ahead and dive in, bring the camera down. Now this is perfect for beginners because we're only going to use a couple fingers and we're going to only use a couple strings. We're going to start here with the simple picking, and we're going to play that with our index finger here on the 3rd fret of our 1st string, our A string. And we're going to pluck the C string, our 3rd string, and that 1st string, our A string, at the same time to start the tune. Now you can use your thumb and your index if you'd like, or your thumb and your middle. As long as you're using your thumb here on the C string, it doesn't matter which one of these 2 fingers you use here on the A. I'm going to use the middle just because that's more comfortable for me. I'm going to pluck those 2 together. Then I'm going to pluck the 3rd fret on the A string again and again. Then I'm going to play the 5th fret on the A string, taking my ring finger here and placing it there on the 5th fret of that A string. Plucking that. And then I'm going to play the 7th fret on the A string, stretching my pinky outward to that 7th fret. It's okay if your ring finger comes off, if that's too much of a stretch, but you want to try to be reaching towards it with the pinky till the last possible second when that ring comes off, and hopefully the 7 is already engaged. We're going to play that note. And then we're going to play the 5 on the A string again, and I like to again use my ring finger for that. And that is the first measure. It sounds and looks something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Going into the second measure now, we're going to pluck the open C again with the 3rd fret on the A string again with that index. So you'll actually notice on the first measure, I try to keep this index here sort of anchored on the 3rd fret of the A string the whole time. If you can do that and sort of develop the stretch, it's a nice little anchor point to give you reference. Makes it easier as you go into measure 2, playing the open C, 3rd string, and the open A, the 1st string together, same way, thumb and either the middle or index fingers. Then we're going to stretch all the way up to the 7th fret with the pinky finger. And then we're going to play the 5th fret on the A string with the ring finger again there twice, before finally playing the 3rd fret on the A string still with that index finger to finish the second measure. So measure 2 sounds something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. And again, I like to try to keep that index finger on the 3rd fret and sort of stretch outward. If that's too big of a stretch for you right now, it's okay to be reaching towards those other fret markers and have the finger sort of peel away as you need it. But we're trying to work on that flexibility and strength in the hand because it does give you a really strong anchor point. So that we can hear it though, here is measures 1 and 2 together. Should sound something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now we move on to measures 3 and 4, and here's what's cool. They're exactly the same as measures 1 and 2 were. No difference, it's exactly the same. You'll notice this a lot in music. Repetition is one of the best things you can have, both to make a tune very catchy and to make it a little easier to play. So that you can hear it, here's measures 3 and 4, exactly the same as measures 1 and 2. Should sound something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now going on to measures 5 and 6, we do have a new melody here at this point. The melody is going to start by playing the C string and A string again, but in different places. We're going to start with our index finger here on the 2nd fret of our C string, and our pinky finger here outreached to the 5th fret on the A string. This can be a little bit of a stretch. Make sure you're getting right up next to those fret wires with each side. You don't want to be coming too far back or you'll get buzzy sounds. So get right up next to those fret wires. Try to hold that 2 and that 5 together. You're going to play the 2 together with your thumb and either your index or middle finger, doesn't matter, with your playing hand. After you've played that, you're then going to play the A string 3 more times, excuse me. So it goes. And then we're going to play open on the A, taking the pinky finger off, playing that open on the A string. I like to leave the 2 here with the index because I want that to still be ringing from earlier. I'm going to play the open A again. And that is measure 5. So it sounds like this in time. 2 and 3 and 4 and... Then as you go on to measure 6, we're going to start with that same 2 and 5 that we played before. Pluck those 2 together. And then we're going to play 3 on the A string with our ring finger. So we're going to start to stretch that ring finger over to the 3rd fret on the A, take the pinky finger off to play that 3 on the A string. Then 2 on the A with our middle finger, go and place that and take the ring finger off. Then open on the A string, take the middle finger off. And then 3 on the E string. I like to use my ring finger to cross up over here. 3 on the E, which is our 2nd string there. Play that. And this time, use your index finger on your playing hand. So that looks something like this. Measure 6, 2 and 3 and 4 and... And the 2 measures together, measures 5 and 6, sound something like this. Again, remember, keep that 2 on the C string with that index finger sort of anchored. Should be something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and... And from here we go on to measures 7 and 8. And good news, 7 and 8 are exactly the same as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 were. No difference whatsoever. So you already know how to play them. In time, 7 and 8 should sound something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and... Pretty neat. Now, here's the whole simple picking part. It's going to sound something like this. This will be measures 1 through 8. 2 and 3 and 4 and... Now at this point, we're going to go on to the more advanced picking. What's neat about this is it's exactly the same stuff, just with a little bit added. And that little bit that's added is instead of just playing the C string at the beginning of every bar like we did in the simple melody, we're going to play the C string at the beginning of the bar and sort of halfway through the bar, and in between we're going to play the G string. Really what that ends up being is we're going to play the C string on beats 1 and 3, and the G string on beats 2 and 4. The melody on the A string and with our fingers here stays exactly the same. Nothing changes with your fretting hand. It's just adding in these extra notes for this almost Travis picking-like effect with the advanced picking. So let's go ahead and look at measure 9. We're going to start at the same point, 3 on the A string, just like we played before. We're going to pluck our C string and our A strings together. And then we're going to play the A string again. And then we're going to play the A string again, just like we did before, but this time we're going to play it with the open G too. So you can hear that sort of. And when I do that, I'm just using my thumb and I'm moving from the C string up to the G string. So the thumb is in charge of playing both the C and the G strings, sort of alternating back and forth. After I've played that open G and the 3 on the A, I'm going to play the 5 on the A with my ring finger, and then the 7 on the A with my pinky, but this time I'm going to play it along with the open C string with my thumb here. Then I'm going to play the 5 on the A, but I'm going to play that along with the open on the G here on the thumb. So that creates this really nice, again, almost Travis picking style of sound with the advanced picking. That makes measure 9 sound something like this in time. 2 and 3 and 4 and. As we go on to measure 10, it's going to be the same as measure 2, but with those same sort of notes added. So we're going to start with open on the C, 3 on the A, 7 on the A, stretching the pinky out, 5 on the A with open on the G now, and then 5 on the A again, and then 3 on the A with the open C this time. And then normally we just hold that for 2 beats, but because we're alternating this sort of bass line between the G and the C strings, we're going to play the open G by itself at the very end of measure 10. So measure 10 sounds something like this in time. 2 and 3 and 4 and. As we go on to measures 11 and 12, exactly the same as 1 and 2 to 3 and 4, meaning it's the same thing. So 11 and 12 are exactly the same as measures 9 and 10 were. And they're going to sound something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Now from here we go on to measures 13 and 14. They're going to be different. We're going to fret that same 2nd fret on the C string, same 5th fret on the A string with your index and pinky finger, same stretch that we did before on the simple melody. We're going to pluck the C and A together, then the A string again, then the G and the A string together, then the A string again, and then the C and the A string going open on the A, still maintaining the 2 here on the C, and then the open on the G and open on the A. Sounds pretty cool, right? This is one of those parts where if you're playing a low G ukulele, you'll notice it sounds much different than here on my high G, but it works. It still sounds good with both tunings, just sounds different. So measure 13 in time should be something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Going into measure 14, we're going to go back to that 5th fret on the A string, still maintaining the 2nd fret here on the C string with the index. Play the C and A together. 3 on the A with the ring finger. 2 on the A with the middle finger, but also play the open G at the same time. Then open on the A. And then we're going to play the 2 on the C and 3 on the E together before finally playing the open G to finish it. So that part's a little tricky. It's exactly the same fretting that you did earlier when we played measure 6. It's just we're alternating those notes again. So measure 14 should sound something like this in time. 2 and 3 and 4 and. As we go into measures 15 and 16, they're going to be exactly the same as what we played earlier on measures 9 and 10, except for the very, very, very last note. And that's because we want to end the song by just letting the notes ring out. So starting with 15 here, we're going to play it exactly the same as measure 9. Should sound something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. Then as we go on to 16, it starts off exactly the same as measure 10 did. But instead of playing that open G at the end that we did on measure 10 and 12, we're just going to finish the tune with that 3 on the A and 0 on the C together. So that means measure 16 is the 0 on the C, 3 on the A, 7 on the A with the pinky there, 0 on the G with 5 on the A, 5 on the A again, and then the 3 on the A with the 0 on the C, and we just hold it indefinitely to sort of finish the song. So measure 16 sounds like this in time. 2 and 3 and 4 and. And so that you can hear it, here's the entire advanced melody. That's going to be measures 9 all the way through 16. Should sound something like this. 2 and 3 and 4 and. There you have it. Bring the camera back up. I love playing this tune because it introduces a little bit of that almost Travis picking like, sound with the alternating bass line. For a cool challenge, if you're playing on a low G, you can actually invert your G and C strings when you play it, and that can create a whole different sound. What I mean by that is when it says to play the C string, which is the lowest string on a high G ukulele, you can instead play your G string, which is the lowest string on a low G ukulele. And then when it says to play the G string, you play your C. You just flip-flop them. And that can create a totally different type of sound for the song and really mess with your brain and give you some good opportunities to, work on that neuroelasticity. So fun song. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments below. I'll look forward to seeing you next time on the next lesson here on Rock Class 101. Thanks so much.
Alright guys, so this week's ukulele lesson was a lot of fun. This is a perfect piece for beginner players and quite a delightful melody to play on the ukulele. Now I do want to give you a friendly reminder before we wrap up that if you did want to get the tabs to print off and keep for your records, that was available at this link right here. Or you can go to the site rockclass101.com, do a search for the song's name. Now also on that page was the really cool interactive on-screen tab viewer, so you can hit play, watch the tab scroll across in real time, highlight bars, loop sections, slow it down, all that fun jazz. So guys, again, I hope you enjoyed learning this tune, and we'll catch you in the next lesson. Take care.